Okay, we're gonna make some summer dishes today. We're gonna do two separate videos. So the first one's gonna be a barbecue glazed cauliflower with a frisee salad and some charred corn. We're gonna get the barbecue sauce going first. Takes the longest. It's super straightforward. Okay, so we're just gonna slice some onion thinly. You don't have to be too fancy here because we're gonna blend the sauce after. So whole onion, we're gonna do about 4 cloves of garlic, and we're gonna cook them kind of slow, so you actually don't even have to like sliver these. We're just gonna quarter them. Again, we're blitzing it, so it doesn't really matter. Save yourself a little bit of time. Also, the garlic's less likely to burn when it's a little bit bigger. And then we're gonna put a decent amount of ginger in too. We're gonna do like a soy barbecue. Probably that much should be good. And then I got some oil heating up in a pan. And this is just canola oil. We're gonna start sweating this stuff. And we're gonna cook it really low. Shit. We got our veg in, and we're just gonna cook it really low and slow. Hit it with a pinch of salt now just to help it get soft. And let that go, yeah, medium lowish. We're not looking to pick up any color. We just want it to get really, really soft and start to develop some flavor that oil, and then we'll go in with our liquid. So yeah, give it like 5-10 minutes. These have been cooking for a minute. And just before they really start to get soft, I'm gonna toast some Chinese 5-spice. I'm gonna go in with about that much. And just let that cook down as well. It's gonna flavor our sauce and give it kind of a Chinese spin. Perfect. Oh, howdy. What's up? Oh, that smells good. We're gonna get our liquid in the barbecue sauce. And really this is like just about ratios. You need some sweetness, much like any of the other sauces I do. It's kind of the same principle. I find a lot of barbecue sauces have way too many ingredients and they all taste the same. So we're just gonna be really controlled. We're gonna pick one and stick to it. We're gonna pick one sweetness, one sour, that's it, and keep it really simple. So ratio is about equal parts. I got brown sugar, and then I got equal parts cider vinegar. I think the cider vinegar flavor is really classic in barbecue sauce. So normally I say you can switch out vinegars, but for barbecue sauce I would really go apple cider vinegar. And because we're making a soy barbecue sauce, we're gonna put also equal parts soy. And then the classic barbecue sauce ingredient, we're gonna do equal parts ketchup. And ketchup is perfect because it'll complement this barbecue sauce really well, because everything that we're putting in our liquid is also in ketchup. There's cider vinegar in there, there's sugar, there's salts, but then there's that really fake tomato-y barbecue sauce classic thing that you need. So we'll just put this in, and we're just gonna let it simmer for about 40 minutes. You wanna turn the heat down pretty low here. We're putting in tons of sugar. So when you put liquid in sugar, like if you just put water in sugar, you cook it down slow enough, eventually you have caramel. So you have to be very careful when you're doing barbecue sauce that it's not on high heat, because if you burn that sugar, it's toast, it's ruined, and you can't fix a burnt sugar taste. So really low heat. As soon as it starts to bubble, turn it down, and yeah, let it go for about 40 minutes, and then we'll puree it and we'll have barbecue sauce. Okay, so our barbecue sauce simmered for about 45 minutes. And it'll look kind of thin while it's still hot, but it'll thicken when we blend the onions. And then we ideally cool this for a few hours so that it gets really thick. But we're just gonna blend it. So we blend it till smooth, and you want to adjust your seasoning now. So during that cooking process, if you find it got too sweet or too sour, take a minute now to rebalance. That tastes great. I'm not gonna mess with that at all. And then this is when it's still warm, it'll be, this consistency. This one I made ahead of time and cooled, And you can see it has that really glazy barbecue sauce type texture. So we use this one. It's much easier to glaze things when this sauce is cold. When it's hot, you'll find it'll just kind of fall off it. Get a little bit of oil preheating in the pan to do with some cauliflower. I also have the broiler heating up because we're gonna do some corn and we're gonna caramelize the sauce under the broiler. So I got like a little head of cauliflower here. Obviously you can use a bigger head. I just want to cut some. I'm just going to cut it right in half. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out the bottom part of this stem. A lot of people will take out this stem too, but we can totally eat that, and we're going to eat that. Because of the way we're cooking it, there's no need to get rid of that. So we're going to go kind of thick here. And I really like the way it looks whole like this. But since we're gonna just do 2 smaller dishes, we're gonna take that and put it into quarters. And that's that. We're gonna caramelize these in a pan, just over about medium heat. And with vegetables and stuff, like I think people are really used to seeing things going into a really hot pan. And which is kind of the case that you need to do with meat, but when you're doing vegetables and stuff, you don't need your pan as hot as you think, especially when we're trying to do things like cook vegetables through all the way so that they're tender. You don't have to have like ripping hot pans and stuff. So take your time, put it into like into a medium. You know, we got a little bit of bubbles here. I want to season it with a little bit of salt, and we're gonna let that go while we prep our salad. Okay, so I got some corn that I'm just gonna lather up and put a little olive oil on my hands. I just want to work this in. I just want to give it some fat so that it'll give it some color under the broiler. So just lather it up a little bit of oil, and that's it. We're gonna pop that under the broiler. I actually have the broiler on low because I don't want it to go too fast for this, but just check it. Every 2 minutes, we're gonna rotate it. Obviously, if you have a barbecue or something, you can do it on the barbecue. You can even do it in a pan and rotate it with some hot oil. But yeah, I'm just gonna use the broiler since we're using the broiler anyway for the cauliflower. And that's it. Now the salad we're gonna serve on top, we're gonna use some frisee lettuce. Frisee lettuce is a lettuce that can take heat. So you can put hot product into it and it won't wilt the greens like a lot of more delicate greens. So I really like it. Double check that it's clean. I got this from a market that actually cleaned it all, so I don't have to worry about it too much, but just check the roots that there's no dirt and stuff in there. If there is like a little odds and ends piece like this, just give it a rinse. And then I like to cut it in sections like this so that I can get a little bit of the really hardy stuff and a little bit of the green. We'll probably need this much for 2 portions. Okay, so we're not gonna put any, because we're waiting for that corn, we're not gonna put anything wet into there yet. We're just gonna take the time to put everything we want in the salad there before we dress it. And we'll dress it right before we go to the plate. I want this to kind of be really savory, so I'm gonna put a whole scallion just in 2 little portions here. You don't have to go super thin with this one. Some scallion, some parsley. With parsley, like, people will tell you to take the stems off, but the stems are only actually like woody and really bad down to this point. Up here, like these little stems, you honestly don't really have to worry about too much, so I just take my knife and take it off that way, and I'll get a little bit of these stems, but that's totally okay. And then I'll just rip them up. I'm not even looking to be too neat and tidy with this. I just want a few herbs in there. Okay, so cauliflower's been going for a couple minutes. We got some color on it. We're just gonna flip it over, and then we're gonna season the other side with salt. Want another lime, right? We want more color still. We want some food porn, you know? Almost there. Okay, so the cauliflower is pretty well cooked. I got nice color on both sides. And if you have like a bake sheet with a wire rack, that would work really well. I don't, so I'm just gonna put it in a different pan. When you're glazing stuff, you don't want a lot of oil because it will tend to make the barbecue sauce fall off. So I'm just transferring it to something to caramelize that sauce where I can kind of dry it out. And if you have a pastry brush and you want to brush this sauce on, feel free. I'm just gonna spoon it on while it's hot so that it kind of seeps down into the nooks and crannies of that cauliflower. And be pretty liberal with the sauce here. Really let it fall down. Pretty gorgeous. All right, so our corn's got a little bit of char. It's cooked through. I'm just gonna let it cool a little bit before we put it into the salad. Mostly because I don't want to burn my hands, but I'm gonna get it out of the hot pan. Ow, fuck. Jesus Christ. Ow. Before we take it off, we probably won't use all that corn, but now that I got a spot in the oven under the broiler, I'm gonna put this cauliflower just to caramelize that sauce and get that like sticky, like barbecue saucy kind of coating. So I'm just gonna pop that under the broiler. It won't take long. Okay, so when you put the cauliflower under the broiler, you just wanna be really careful. Like, keep an eye on it. Maybe put your broiler on low and don't be scared to take a little bit longer. Like I said, there's lots of sugar in barbecue sauce. If you burn that sugar, it's game over. You're gonna have to start again. Luckily, cauliflower is cheap, but just keep an eye on it. Check it pretty often. Broiler like can take 1 to 2 minutes, so just make sure that you're watching it. Literally said that my broiler takes forever. Fuck. This is how we do it in the kitchen, man. We burn ourselves. Okay, so just shave off the corn. That's that. And you can throw it while it's completely, totally hot into the salad. And now we can dress this. Super easy dressing. We're just gonna go lime juice. Always use fresh citrus. Don't ever buy the bottled lime juice or lemon juice. Fresh so that you get your zest and it tastes way better. Season this with a really good pinch of salt. Greens take a decent amount. And especially because we're gonna be putting some oil in there, which we're gonna use cold pressed canola oil. A little bit of that. Hand toss this. Give it a taste. Adjust as necessary, as always. Let that corn get all mixed in there. Have a taste, make sure your seasoning is okay. Perfect. I'm actually gonna put more corn in here. Okay. Now we're ready to plate. Here's our cauliflower. You see, got that nice caramelized, sticky, smells really nice and barbecuey and summery. I'm just gonna put this down to plate because it's super hot. Okay, so we're gonna put one of these nice pieces down on the plate, and then we're gonna take a little bit more of that little caramelized stuff from the pan. Make sure an ample amount gets on there. And then we'll put a little bit of our frisee salad on here as well. And we're just gonna dig out some of this dressed corn because we want a decent amount of corn on there as well. Make sure you get a little bit of herbs and scallion and all that stuff in this. And there you go. Yeah, you can do this as a side dish, or you can do this as the main part of the dish and do, you know, like a roast potatoes with this. Barbecue glazed cauliflower, frisee salad with charred corn and herbs. Simple, summery, And you can use the barbecue sauce on anything. Barbecue sauce is kind of a good thing to know how to make, so take it, put it on whatever you want, make a big batch of it like I did, and then you can eat it on your barbecue. All right, Ben's still helping with the fridge, so we're gonna give him one. Brennan, you'll obviously get one too, don't worry.
I don't think